Sean is a real calculated guy. So I promise you this, the fact that the weather changed dramatically in the second half, I guarantee you Sean Payton and that staff knew that was the forecast. He is such a detailed, like to a fault, detailed guy. So to me, now I'm going to say something here. If they score and go up 14-0, then we're saying, I like it. It's a gutsy call. You had faith in your backup quarterback. I mean, you're saying all those cliche things, most of which are true. I get that too. But I honestly would have taken the 3, given how dominant my defense had been.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Broncos X's and O's. This is the last show of the 2025-2026 season. The Broncos.
Such a finality to that. Sorry to interrupt.
We lost a heartbreaker yesterday, but I am sitting next to my co-host, KOA's own Dave Logan, voice of the Broncos. We saw you achieve some history this year, not only at Cherry Creek High School, but also celebrating the games that you've called. And it's been a pleasure to work with you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun.
This.
It's been two receivers talking ball.
I know, right? If we can convince the folks at DNVR, we'll do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
What I mean?
How do you think we would have played yesterday? How would you have played or handled the snow yesterday? Because I've played in a couple games like that. It is extremely hard to see. We'll get to the first half in a little bit, but
yeah,
what was it like there? Just you calling the game.
No, it's. I mean, as a former player, excuse me, and I probably picked up a cold because I was freezing yesterday, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Right, the windows are open. You've got the trench coat on, and you're just trying to battle the elements and describe what you see. But I think as a former player playing in Cleveland, I had a few snow games.
Yeah, for sure. You had some cold ones.
It's challenging, right? I mean, I always felt like the advantage was to the receivers because we knew what we were trying to do and where we were trying to go, and the defensive backs had to react to us. But there does come a point in time, and I think it was evident yesterday in the second half where, I don't think anybody's going to be able to do anything in this weather. So it's too bad. I think, and we can talk about it here, but I think the Broncos, when they have a chance to reflect back on the season, and in particular yesterday's game, as great as the season was, and I think they took positive steps, but I think they missed an opportunity yesterday in a game that I think they had every chance to win, and they just didn't.
Yeah, I think you hear Nick Bonito talk about it in his post-game presser that it's sickening to him because they were the better team. And I thought the Broncos were the better team yesterday, but it's any given Sunday, and you've seen that plenty of times where, yes, you have the more talented team, and, they just did enough. They made enough plays, but I think it's extremely tough conditions. Yeah. And like you said, it would have been hard for any quarterback or any offense to move the ball in that type of weather, and that makes you think about certain calls and play calls in the first half. But before we get into the offense and the 4th and 1 and all those different things, let's talk about the defense, because I thought the defense played extremely well. They made all of the plays. Drake Maye couldn't do a lot. They had him really spooked. I think in the first quarter, they had 12 plays, 12 yards. He could not do much, and he looked like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah, I honestly thought he looked spooked standing on the sideline before the game.
Really?
They're standing there for the national anthem, and all the players are standing without their helmets. So as the camera pans the sideline, you stop on the starting quarterback, and I just thought he looked like a young guy that was about to play his first postseason game on the road.
Yeah.
And the setting was big. The crowd was loud. And I thought just watching, and again, you play amateur psychiatrist, or would that be psychologist? Either or.
Yeah.
There's pills involved.
Yep.
So I thought just for a second, I'm like, that young dude, as good a year as he's had, he's nervous as hell.
Yeah.
Right now, and the game hadn't even started.
Yep.
So I thought the Broncos defense was good, very active early in the game. I mean, you got a chance in that first series. Talanoa Hufanga completely fooled Maye on the coverage, and he's got a chance. Would have been a nice catch, but he's got a chance to get a pick in that first series and can't quite come up with it. So many, and we'll talk about them, but so many opportunities yesterday that you just kind of shake your head and grimace.
Yeah, Talanoa Hufanga is one of our guys, and has been on the show before, and one of the most positive bright spots for the Denver Broncos team all year. And then obviously the defense got the All-Pro selection. But yeah, when you think about those things, when you think about tone setting, when you think about the Broncos and the success that they've had, when you think about Von Miller in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl, it's that play right there that even sets the tone. And him and Riley Moss run into each other, and like you said, Talanoa reads it all the way.
Yep.
And that could have been a game-defining play to really start the game. But, going back to the defense, I thought they played extremely well.
I did too.
I thought they flew around. I thought they confused Drake Maye a lot. I thought there were a lot of coverage sacks, even when the weather was good. What do you think really stood out about Vance's game plan?
I thought he was aggressive, which I liked. I thought that the Broncos defense sort of dictated the terms of the game, especially in that first half. They were able to pressure him, and they took away the running game.
Yes.
We sat here and talked about the game plan all week long. That we talked about Mike Vrabel talking to Josh McDaniels and saying, listen, I don't want to see Nick Bonito having a chance to strip sack Drake Maye in the first quarter like the Broncos did against the Bills with Josh Allen in the first series of the third quarter, and let the Broncos offense with Jarrett Stidham have the ball on the 17-yard line. So I thought the game plan for New England was exactly like I thought it would be. Short passes, running game. The Patriots were fine early because they had to be. We're fine with punting the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, you're fine with punting the ball because you had to be fine with punting the ball because there was really not much there for the Patriots. And I thought the Broncos, I thought they had opportunities on offense. They took advantage of the really good throw Jared made to Marvin, 52 yards, and then they score 2 plays later. And right there it's 7-0. And I just thought Denver had everything sort of going for them. And again, just didn't take full advantage of it.
Yeah, didn't take advantage of it. I thought the flea flicker was a ballsy call by McDaniels. I wonder if
third quarter.
Yeah, it's just a ballsy call by them. And I think we talked about it on the show last week. That's something that you always got to be prepared for. The Patriots in AFC Championship games, whether it's double passes, flea flickers, they always got one of those things up their sleeve. I thought also the Drake Maye scrambles killed you.
Absolutely.
They killed you. You ran 2-man on one play, and he runs up the middle and bad angle. I don't know if it's a bad angle by PJ, but that sucks. And then the 3rd and 6, you got to be ready for contain right there. I didn't think they were going to be throwing the ball at all.
No.
They were always going to say, hey, Drake, you got to make a play with your feet, whether it was they were going to go an empty formation or whether they were going to do boot or play action, and Dre beats him with his legs. And I think that's something that Denver struggled with all year.
Yeah, and again, something we talked about last week, when you rush a guy like Drake Maye, not only is he really athletic, I mean, he's 6'4", 225 pounds, but that kid can run.
Yeah.
Right? So he can run, and then you couple that with he's playing in his first postseason game. And so young quarterbacks are much more likely, if they go back and the first read or second read's not there, they're going to tuck it and go. Especially after the first series when he tried to throw the double slant. Hufanga was on the inside receiver, then let him go and waited for the outside receiver to run the slant. It was right there. My gut would tell me that when the Patriots went off the field after the first series, Drake Maye was seeing ghost.
Yeah.
And they're probably saying, hey, we've talked about this all week, let's not lose the game on the road against this defense. Don't force the ball in, but he just got fooled. So, yeah, he made a lot of big plays. I thought Drake Maye's legs were the difference in yesterday's game.
Yep, for sure. Now let's switch over to the offense. That's where, there's just a lot out there. And
really? You think?
So I'm going to pull up some plays right here for us to watch in real time. So there's 6 plays right here.
Oh, you got 6.
I got 6.
Okay.
And this first one, I think, is one of the game changers. Dave, you just playing receiver, and everybody, it's 2nd and 10 right here. It's 11:52 to go, and in the first quarter, and Pat Bryant goes in motion. Jarrett checks at the line of scrimmage. They're getting a blitz 0 look, and for everybody out there, blitz 0, everybody is up at the line of scrimmage right here, and Sean has a great play call dialed up. And if Jarrett Stidham gives Marvin Mims a runner's ball right here for receiver, I mean, he is going to score.
It's a house call. In calling the game, I remember saying on the broadcast, if Stidham can get Marvin the ball here, he might be into the north end zone.
Yes.
I mean, that was a great design, and they got exactly the look that they wanted. Probably not even the look they anticipated, but they got the absolute worst look from a New England standpoint that you could get, and yet it goes as an incomplete pass.
Yeah, it goes as an incomplete pass. And when we talk about, a game of inches, and we talk about how close these games are, I can't pull it up right now. It's moving a little slow, but
kind of like we used to run routes.
Exactly. When you think about these types of games, you have to make that play. And I thought, if Jared just tossed the ball right here, this is the exact look you want. And for those out there, Kale, I don't know, maybe if we can find something later on for people to look at, whether it's a Pittsburgh game or DT against Baltimore, where Payton would throw these tunnel screens and you get the blitz 0 look, you got 3 on 2. And Sean,
I can still see DT against Steelers for 1, Ravens for another, taking the tunnel screen and going about 60.
Yeah, and we give up. Yeah, everybody's giving flack to Sean Payton for the play call on 4th and 1, but these are things you never lose a game on one play. You never lose a game on one play, because if Stidham makes this throw right here and Marvin, he will hit his head on the goal post.
And that's 14-0.
Yeah. So this play right here I thought was dialed up really well. 3rd and 10, and they catch him. They catch New England. Marvin Mims goes over the top. I thought this was a great throw by Stidham. Sean Payton's got to be one of the best play callers on 3rd and 10 all year this year, whether it was the flea flicker against the Chargers, the 3rd and 11 that Bo completes against Buffalo. Obviously, this play right here, you don't have a lot of play calls for 3rd and 10, but
no.
Sean's done really well throughout the entire year.
I mean, that play, if you go back and take a look at it, Christian Gonzalez is the corner, but he's playing they're playing quarters, right? The safety to the side of Mims jumps up and hugs the deep over, which – if you do that, then the post on the outside is where you want to go with the ball.
Yep.
And it was a good throw by Stiddy. Big play that they got the Broncos down. And then 2 plays later, you get the touchdown pass from Stidham to Courtland.
Yeah, just really well done, really well designed.
That's on the safety. That's not on Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, and I thought, Stidham made it. I thought it was going to be – what did you think at that moment as you were calling the game?
Well, hell, I was excited. I mean, it's 7-0, and it's kind of like you and I talked about it. I know I said I didn't think if the Broncos lost the AFC Championship game, I did not think it would be because Jarrett Stidham didn't play well. And I thought after that drive, I said, this is exactly what I thought he was capable of doing. He's got a good arm. He can push the ball down the field. And I thought, and I anticipate in this game that Sean Payton will dial up things. And the reality is he did. And put him in a position where he can have success. That was one of his better throws.
He dialed up some really good play calls, and then New England was like, okay, noted. Then they started changing up everything. They did blitz 0 on 1st down. They did Tampa 2 on 1st down. They did cover 2. They did 1 hole. They completely changed, to me, their game plan on 1st and 2nd down, and I thought it was a great chess move by them, and Broncos couldn't get a beat. The only thing, we're playing Monday morning quarterback and coach right here. Broncos didn't have a plan for pressure after that. And I'm pointing out this 3rd and 6 right here. You get another blitz 0 look. And little Jordan Humphrey is wide open, but Jarrett Stidham has to get rushed. He gets rushed outside of the pocket. But I thought there was no plan for pressure the rest of the game, at least before the weather got bad. I mean, you're seeing it right here. You got all these vertical routes. They're playing cover 0 again. And Jarrett doesn't check anything at the line. I'm not saying I don't know if he has the opportunity to do that or not, but this is where you want those plans for pressure.
Yeah, you've got to be able to. And I think Jarrett did a good job. He recognized the pressure. I agree with you. Not sure whether he tried to check here or had the ability to check. But the route concepts, when you get this type pressure, you've got to have one of those routes, whether it's side adjustment or whether it's built into the concept, where one of those routes is going to allow the quarterback to get rid of the ball short.
Yep.
And on this particular play, it doesn't look like they did.
Yep.
Although, this
is the play that he ends up running.
Who is that?
That's little Jordan Humphrey.
Yeah, and so little Jordan Humphrey, maybe that's the built-in adjustment there. But Jarrett is flushed out and leaves the pocket. And I think he saw. My guess is Stidham there realized right before the snap, like, wait a minute, they're bringing 7, so I got to get out of this pocket and try to get to the sticks and get a first down.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I don't know, playing in Sean's offense, I don't remember a lot of side adjusts, but this is one of the things where you wish that there was a side adjust on, like if, LJ has a drag route right here, or you get into one of those tunnel screen situations again, which they have in their playbook. Don't get me wrong, Jarrett, I thought played a pretty solid game for it being his first start.
Yep,
but if Bo Nix is out here, this is a first down, because he's just a little bit faster. He is faster.
He's like you compare Bo to Jarrett to be like comparing me to you. So I'm a little bit faster.
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
faster.
Yeah, so
at least at this stage in my career.
So this play is actually played right before the 4th and 1.
Yep.
And look, we go to the 4th and 1 play. Playing Monday morning coach. It's like, hey, you question the call. Dave, we'll pause it right there. I think you go for the points right here because New England cannot move the ball on your defense.
Yep.
Drake Maye at this point has had 2 drives, 2 3-and-outs, or they only got 1 first down at this point in time. He looks spooked. Your defense is playing extremely well. I think the mindset is totally different for them and how they have to now think being down 2 scores.
Yep.
And, hey, we can't move the ball at all.
I think one of the beauties of our game is that football is, of all the sports, the most second-guessed because you have so many variables and so many decisions that go into every single snap. What personnel do we use? What play do we call? Do we like this? Do we change it? Do we not change it? But I will say this, and I agree, this is classic second guessing, but I agree with you. I think in this case, you take the 3 points, you go up 10-0. And the reason, and I thought that at the time calling the game, I think when you look at how your defense is playing, and Sean is a real calculated guy. So I promise you this, the fact that the weather changed dramatically in the second half, I guarantee you Sean Payton and that staff knew that was the forecast. He is such a detailed, like to a fault, detailed guy. So to me, now I'm going to say something here. If they score and go up 14-0, then we're saying, I like it. It's a gutsy call. You had faith in your backup quarterback. I mean, you're saying all those cliche things, most of which are true. I get that too. But I honestly would have taken the 3 given how dominant my defense had been. And I'll tell you something else. Right before that snap, and I noticed, the Patriots stemmed. The entire defensive line moved. And if you look at that play, they had a free runner right off the Broncos' right offensive side and he's a down lineman that doesn't get touched. So he has a free run to the quarterback, to Stidham, as Stiddy rolls to his right. The whole idea, I think it's a play that is designed for man coverage.
Yep.
The corner never moves. And Sean, in fairness, Sean said we had a nickel run called that probably would have been better. I think 4th and 1 there. I mean, if you stop it and you want to get, I mean, you could quarterback sneak for a yard right there.
Yep. Got
right.
Plenty of space right there.
But again, we've got all the answers after the fact. We're pretty good at that.
You know what? I think, a lot of people are saying out there, and it was funny to hear Sean talk about it in the press conference. Actually, not funny to hear, but it was interesting to hear Sean talk about in the press conference, hey, we could have got all the momentum if we had went up 14, or we would have had more momentum if we had went up 14. Well, the way the Broncos and the way this offense had played red zone offense the last 4 to 5 weeks, I didn't assume that you were going to automatically get 14 points. So you would, to me, if we're playing the percentages over the last 4 to 5 weeks, this offense hasn't been great in the red zone. So you would get the 10 points anyway. It would still be 10-0. So you don't automatically assume, to me, that you're going to score a touchdown just because you get that first down.
I think the way that I would have looked at that again, and my decision would have been based almost solely on how my defense was playing. Mm-hmm. At that point, the Patriots, I mean, they weren't drinking a drop.
Yeah.
I mean, the Broncos defense had completely shut down Drake Maye, and almost every time the Patriots took the field, I said, well, this will be a 3-and-out, and they'll be punting the ball back down on the other side of the field. So you go up 10, you're in the second quarter. I think you're going through all the scenarios in your mind, and I'm thinking if I'm coaching the Broncos at that point, can I get down here and get 7 points more for the rest of the game? Mm-hmm. The answer, and again, you got to do this in quick fashion, the answer I think would have been, yeah, I think we can. I think we can get 7 more. Well, if that's your thinking, that's 17. Mm-hmm. Now you ask, based on what you've seen, can Drake Maye and the Patriots offense get to 17 and tie the game? Mm-hmm. And I had some real doubts as to whether that was going to be possible for New England.
For sure. So, that was that call right there. And then we got a 3rd and 4 with 3:22 to go. And I believe this might be the play, the backwards pass. What'd you think about that call?
Well, I think
they went reload right here.
Yeah, so they went back. Reload means they go back. You've got man coverage, right? They're playing one free, mm-hmm. Right? So the back. I haven't talked to anybody out there, but I went back and looked at this morning as well. I think the back is supposed to slip from right to left in the flat.
Yep.
And that's Tyler Bidet. But what Tyler can't do, and again, this is conjecture on my part. I'm not in the meeting rooms. I don't know. But if what I think is true, what he can't do is go underneath behind the left tackle.
Yeah, you got to find an insert.
You've got to find an insert into the offensive line and get out in the flat. And you can see that had he done that, and instead he looked like he's trying to buy some time for Bidet to sift through the offensive line. And honestly, had he done that, he's going to run forever.
Yeah, for sure.
Going to run forever. And once I think Jarrett realized that Tyler got hung up, then he tried to backpedal, wait. Then he realized, like, oh, hell, this is not going to work. And then he tried to shovel the ball off, and it was ruled a fumble. So, costly play for the Broncos.
Yep, and that was the one thing that the Broncos, you didn't want them to do, was turn the ball over because of how well. The defense had a heroic effort, and they did everything.
Yep.
And pretty much, Stiddy, I think that's just the one play that you want back.
I agree.
Yeah, it's the one play that you want
back.
Totally
agree.
But shout out to him for just, stepping into the moment. Tough moment. Haven't thrown a pass all year, but he made some throws and made some plays. And, was moving the ball.
Listen, I'm going to say something I normally wouldn't, but I was watching ESPN this morning, and Rex Ryan was on, and I really like Rex, like his analysis, and think he's always been a really good coach. Man, he is killing Jarrett Stidham. Just in a way that, I think not only is unfair, it's just a tad bit mean-spirited, just saying stuff. And I'm thinking, come on, bro. You've been a head coach in this league. You've been a defensive coordinator. You're taking gratuitous shots at a guy that had not thrown a pass for 749 days. So I would just say to Rex, I guess as respectfully as I could, have a sip of shut the hell up.
Yep.
You know better.
100%.
You know better, man. You know better than, and that's the easy way out to look at the game and blast the backup quarterback, and this guy will be a backup quarterback for the. I mean, just killing him. And I thought honestly it was beneath Rex in terms of doing something like that.
Well, you know, Rex is a little bitter because he's unemployed and he's been trying to get in lobby for coaching jobs every single year.
I think he's a good coach, right? I mean,
good coaches are hired right now. They're hiring.
Well, I mean,
I don't know if he's even getting interviews. So
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know.
Rex does lack emotional intelligence. We've seen that throughout that. So I don't have anything to say about that, but that.
Yeah.
So,
well said.
You know, shout out to Jared and, you know, stepping in. It was incredible to see the city rally around. That shows the power of Broncos country because they rallied around this kid. They rallied.
Man.
I can't say kid. Jared and I are probably like 2 years apart. They rallied around Jared, and it was good to see.
No doubt.
I think Jake the Snake is getting ready to call in here a little bit, but we got to touch on the receivers because we're both receivers. I thought the receivers, this is the game where they're going to have to take a hard look at themselves, personally and professionally, in terms of did they do what they needed to do to really help this team win. Obviously, the Broncos come up short, but, you know, Courtland's been an incredible receiver all year. He's made plays. Shout out to him for going to his second Pro Bowl, but this is where you got to help this is where you got to help your young quarterback or your backup quarterback. You know, LJ, you got to make some plays. Marvin Mims, he did make a big play. And when the ball was thrown to him, Pat Bryant goes out with a hamstring. Evan Ingram, you know, a good friend of mine. Hey, you guys got to step up and make plays for this guy. You know, he's coming into a tough situation. This is where you guys have to be special. And when you look at that NFC game last night, you see Jackson Smith and Jigba, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and you're just like, man, this is the type of performance we need in a big game. Okay, take the second half out of it. Just go to the first half because the weather was so bad in the second half. But the first half, that's the type of performance that you need from your receivers.
So I've said all year long, and I think there have been some that have said I've been, maybe too critical of the receivers. We come. I have such respect for players because I know how hard it is. And we come at it from different generations, basically, right? Back in the mid-'70s to mid-'80s when I played, they didn't throw the ball as much. And so there was more of a premium put on catching the ball. And whatever you have to do to catch the ball, you're going to sacrifice whatever that is. You're going to find a way to catch the ball. And I think today, because the ball is in the air so much, there's maybe – at times less attention to that. That's not to say the position coaches don't stress that. It's not to say they don't talk about it in the meetings. But here's the thing. For me personally this year, the ball was on the ground too much. Ball's on the ground too much. I can get really passionate about that type of thing because I know the importance of guys being able to make tough catches. They keep drives going, and ultimately they put you in a position to score, which means if you do that enough, you're going to win games. Playing receiver in this league, you did, I did. It can be a very frustrating role because, you're running at times, you're not getting the ball, and so you're like, man, I mean, what am I doing? I sort of just went Jerry Jeudy on people right there. Like I'm out here just getting a workout. But I understand the frustrations. I just thought the ball – this year, in general, was on the ground too much.
I 100% agree.
So how about that quarterback, Bo Nix? Speaking of him playing well, if you're as hyped as we are, you can now get the brand new limited edition Bo Nix card. I want to talk about an awesome product that our friends over at Int Credit Union are offering to help us Bronco fans make the most of the season. For those of you who don't know them, Int is the largest credit union in Colorado, proudly serving communities all over the state, and they're also the official banking partner of the Denver Broncos. And their Broncos checking account is loaded with all kinds of perks. How about this? Every 15 swipes on your Broncos checking debit card enters you for the chance to win home game tickets, a Bronco debit card, and also a limited edition Bo Nix one that is available right now. You also get 10% off food and gear on game days at Empower Field. and no surprise fees. So if you're ready to bank like a Bronco, head over to int.com/DNVR and you can learn more. Insured by NCUA, membership required, account requires associated Int Broncos debit card.
We got Jake the Snake calling in. Jake, good to see you, bud.
Wholeheartedly agree with you. The ball's on the ground too much. Receivers, these two things right here, they're useful when the ball's coming your way. These pads, they're for shielding you. When you let it get to the pad, you're not doing your job.
100%. Jake, man, just really appreciate you joining the show. Take us into just what you thought overall of Jarrett Stidham's performance. Obviously a tough situation coming into the AFC Championship as a backup quarterback, but how did you think he performed yesterday?
Early on, he looked great. I thought, I even sent out a little tweet saying Stidham's getting in that rhythm. He was looking good, moving the ball, made a great throw to Mims. They moved him out of the pocket, touchdown. It was a balance of run and pass. And then we just went heavy on the screen game, and I think New England was ready for that. Even though they did try to get him downfield some, pocket wasn't there quite like we wanted. I think that he did still deliver the ball a couple times. He made a great throw over the middle to Sutton. Jumped on Sutton quick. Sutton came out of the break, but, guys got to be ready for that. He made a great throw. He had to throw it early. He threw that ball late to little Jordan Humphries, who jumped up like an amazing athlete, but he forgot about these two things here that, grab it with the hands, don't let it get to that pad. And the ball, as we saw, bounced off his shoulder pad, and we didn't continue that drive. So tough situation for Stidham, but I think he came in there and he did what he was supposed to do, which was get out there and, run the offense. And guys around him just, I think, didn't quite show up as well as they have been in the past. Even early on in the game, we saw Miners, the left guard, get smoked by the D lineman on the Patriots, just abused. And, that's not like them this year. So you work through those mistakes early on. You hope to get a game plan set that, weather provided, it's coming. You give Stiddy a chance to do what he can do well. And I thought he did a pretty good job early. Of course, late when the weather hit, all expectations go away. You're just trying to struggle for anything you can get. And then it just became who wants to make a play more than the other guy. And as we saw, Drake Maye made the plays for his team, and no one really stepped up for the Broncos.
Jake, you played quarterback for this team for a long time, played quarterback in the league even longer, and I know you have a real appreciation of the game. And so Bennie and I are sitting here like everybody else, I think that's a Broncos fan this morning, looking back in the game and lamenting about missed opportunities. I want to ask you what I've been out and about this morning. I bet I've been asked 5 times, once standing in a coffee line. I'm going to ask you the same question. The 4th and 1, when the Broncos are up 7-0, do you go for that there with what Sean termed momentum, trying to get up 14-0, or do you kick what looks to be a surefire field goal and take the 3 points?
Well, we're not even talking about this if they just run a play like, downhill running game, get a first down. We ran a play that was highly predictable, and the Patriots were ready for it. So I love a coach that wants to gamble and go on his instinct and keep momentum and put it on the players to make plays. At that case, I just think the play call maybe wasn't the right call. Really hadn't run the ball very well all year, and you're going to run, kind of a half roll play action kind of thing. I would rather just seen him go downhill and try to get a yard. If you're in the NFL and we've got 2 Pro Bowlers on this O-line and we got guys that want it bad enough, you find a way to get that yard. Again, looking back in hindsight, I don't think you go away from putting points on the board unless you didn't see a weather forecast. If there was nobody that knew that the weather was coming in, then go for it. Go for it every single time. But with weather coming in, I think that there maybe was less of an impetus on points being scored, and the fact that our defense was getting after that offense for New England. I mean, Drake Maye was an MVP candidate until yesterday when I saw nothing of MVP-type play from him when the weather was good. He did step up and make plays when he had to late with his legs. But, we're going to all second guess and look at that call, whether he was listening to the analytics and the computers and the spit out of the percentages and all that, or if he was just going on Sean Payton coaching skills, which is, hey, my team is rolling. Let's put a another 6, 7 points up on the board and make this a real hard game for the Patriots with what was coming in the second half weather-wise. But I don't know. I don't think I would have liked to have seen my team not put points on the board, even if it's just a field goal. Those are still points. And when the season is gone, every point matters, as we know. Every point matters in this season of comebacks and last-second wins by the Broncos. And tough decision to be made. Even the missed field goals, which were unlike Lutz in the game, and the one where maybe they were a yard off on the spot. I mean, that's just stuff you got to hope the players take into their own hands and make sure that kind of stuff doesn't happen and guys block guys and the kick gets up, and maybe we talking a different narrative here today. But otherwise, I do like a coach that goes on his gut and says, hey, my players can do this.
Jake, last question for us, man. Talk about Bo Nix and his growth in year 2. Obviously leads his team to the #1 seed, 14 wins, plays extremely well, outduels Josh Allen. Talk about his growth and what you saw from him, just because you understand the quarterback position so well. And I think, Dave and I, we get to play Monday morning quarterback, but I think you have a real understanding of what it's like, to get the play call in, to call the play, and then to read the defense and then throw the ball. You really understand that. So what did you see from him?
I saw a lot of development from him, and let's give him some love for the fact that he couldn't go out and play. I would have much rather I'd go do it again like we did in 2005 and lose in an AFC Championship game rather than just have it taken away from me due to injury. People may think I'm crazy, but I'd rather go out, lay it on the line, show the world what I got, and if we lose, we lose, rather than to not be able to go out there as the competitor that I know he is. That stings. That hurts really bad. I hope he recovers well and that ankle comes back strong. Bo showed me a lot this year. There's still a lot of work to be done with his ability in the pocket. As you watch Seattle-LA game, I mean, there's 2 quarterbacks there that stand in the pocket, go through progressions, work 1, 2, 3, and then take off. We're hoping he gets to there, but we also don't want to take away his God-given abilities, which are to make plays out of nothing and to scramble and use his instincts. And I think as he goes into this offseason, there's all kinds of film. You're going to look at what he did well. Of course, he knows what he did well. But every quarterback, no matter what, as soon as the last game is played, you go in and have a meeting with your coach, and you go, okay, what do I got to work on this offseason? What do I need to get better at? Third downs? Do I need to get better at my progressions? Do I need to get better at back foot, staying in the pocket, not getting antsy, anticipation? There's so much upside to what he's doing and what he's done that you can improve on all that. But the main thing is he's a winner. And you can't go and spend the offseason saying, okay, here's what you got to do to be a winner. You got to do this. No. Bo's a winner. It's in his genes. It's in his blood. He's got the clutch gene. His team loves him. This whole community is learning to love him. And hopefully the naysayers will just shut up and start watching this kid dazzle us with his belief in himself. He has such a strong belief in who he is and what he can do. And that resonates on that team. And we saw that wasn't there yesterday when they needed it. There wasn't that Bo juice that he brought no matter what, no matter when, that team would believe. And hard for him to go into this year with such a great season under his belt. But it's year number 2, and that's it. I hope that he gets another chance at an AFC Championship game because you guys both know this stuff's not guaranteed. They got there this year somehow, some way, without a lot of playmakers. Without you watch that Seattle game and you're like, whoa, those guys get the ball and do stuff with it. How did the Broncos get to this with maybe a couple guys that do that? Harvey, upside, huge. RJ Harvey, I can't wait to see him play more. Bryant, same thing. But they were in this position. It was a magical year. I thank them for all the entertainment, and I just hope that Bo comes back healthy, and I know he's chomping at the bit to get out there and lead these guys and hopefully do it again.
Awesome, Jake, man. Really appreciate you joining us.
Right on. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you, Jake.
Well, that was another episode of Broncos X's and O's. Dave, it's been a real pleasure, man. I thought this was a really good season by the Broncos. They should be really excited about, number one, the trajectory, and Pat Surtain is still the best player on this team, but now the face of your franchise has emerged, and I think that's really important for Broncos country, this team, is that Bo showed you exactly what Jake just said, that clutch gene. Those are things that you cannot teach, and he's still got a lot of room and area to grow. Sam Darnold's in, year 7 or 8? Then you see his progression. I think with Sean and Bo and their relationship, I think you will continue to see that progression.
Yeah, I think the foundational pieces are in place. Mm-hmm. This is a good football team, and I think, relatively speaking, it's a young team as well. And I agree with Jake. I think you've got to find a couple more playmakers. Mm-hmm. I think they have to decide. I think they missed dearly J.K. Dobbins.
Yep.
And when you and I talked about it when he got hurt, right? When J.K. Dobbins, after 9 weeks, J.K. Dobbins was number 3 out of running backs in terms of 10-yard or more runs in the NFL. He's that guy.
Yep.
And to lose him, it definitely hurt the running game overall. So what do you do with him? Do you bring him back? They'll decide that. But I think in terms of foundational pieces, you got your quarterback. You got a young guy that you can build around. The defense had an excellent year. Add a couple of pieces there. I mean, I think the future is very, very bright. But also one thing Jake said, which I totally believe to be true, you had a chance here this year. Everything kind of fell into place. Didn't work out. It'll be tougher next year. The schedule by far is tougher.
Yep.
And you wouldn't think that Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, all of them are going to miss the playoffs again next year. I think not. So it's going to be tougher for the Broncos, but I think the pieces, the foundational pieces, are in place.
Well, man, looking forward to the offseason. And there's going to be more conversation.
You're going to have to give me a few strokes on the golf course.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in throughout the entire season. The feedback was great. If you have feedback in terms of how we can improve this show and how we can improve the content, please let us know. Dave and I are always looking for constructive criticism, no negative comments, but really appreciate you all tuning in this year. Thank you.
We all silly like the mayor.